So could you talk about the religious festival becoming a national festival, so-called secular festival, that too Hindu festivals?
Well, the Hindu festival structures and their modes evolved and changed from time to time. In ancient period, I think most of the Vedic festivals seem to have been festivals of sacrifice, ritual orgies, in which male, female, free engagements sexually and otherwise, eating beef, various kinds of foods and drinking soma, so on and so forth seem to be around. But as times passed on, particularly by the time the nationalist movements began to spring up, the Hindu festivals seem to have been constructed around the Aryan heroes killing the Dalit-Bahujan defenders or ideologues. Now, in most of the Hindu festivals, the killing of the Dalit-Bahujan ideologues or their own rights defenders by the Hindu pantheon have come into existence. Now, the famous among them is Deepavali, where Narakasura is killed by Krishna's wife, Satyabhama. And then you have festivals where Mahishasura getting killed on a particular day. And then the festival Dasara, for example, is worshipping the weapons day. So, many of these festivals now get organized around the killing of these people. But quite surprisingly, the caste hierarchy and the Brahminic forces killing the Dalit-Bahujan forces or the Dravidian heroes get accepted by the Dravidians also, or what we call Dalit-Bahujans in other parts of the country. That's how, for example, Deepavali becomes a festival of lighting lamps on the day of Narakasura getting killed. See, the Sura is actually hero of the people, and he gets killed by the pantheon gods and goddesses of Mahabharata. Particularly, the story was weaved around Satyabhama killing Narakasura, Krishna helping in that process. Similarly, for example, the Narasimha killing what is his name? There's one person who Narasimha kills and he becomes God with that. Now, say for example, Shishupala getting killed by Krishna, or Karna getting killed by Krishna in the war. Many of these killing stories where justice gets killed and injustice gets eulogized. So most of the festivals come to get significance around this. But the other major nationalist festival that came to occupy the Indian scene is Vinayak Chaturthi. Now Vinayaka himself was Ganapati, who was usurping the wealth of people of Ganas. Ganapati was head of Ganarajya. Now there was small local fiefdoms or small local mohallas or areas where Ganapatis were extracting wealth from producers, agrarian masses, and trying to harass them. And when Ganapatis, the Ganarajyas were taken and annexed with the Janapadas and Mahajanapadas, the bigger states with standing army, the powers of Ganapatis were abolished and they were taken over by larger kings. That day people celebrated because the Ganapatis were forceful extractors of wealth, and they were harassing people and killing them also in the process. That's how the Ganapati's body was symbolized as body of strength, body of eating food, body of glowing trunk and tusks. So this was modified by Tilak and adopted as national festival during the freedom struggle. Now this festival is now transformed into a kind of nationalist festival against Muslims. Now on Ganapati festival day or Vinayak Chaturthi day or on the day, 9th day of immersing Ganapati statues in the tanks and water bodies, in several places communal violences were created. So this again became a sort of Hindu mythological Brahminic reassertion against the British, but were turned into anti-Muslim festival. Now that's how even now the Ganapati immersions become tense and anti-Muslim rioting, and Muslims also creating riot situations emerge. Now I think in this tradition of Hindu festivals where killing of the ancient Dravidian Dalit-Bahujans, what in the tribal language is called the Adivasis, by the invaders, the Aryan invaders, became the festival days of Aryans and sorrowful days of Adivasis, Dravidians and Dalit-Bahujans. After all, there is a close link between Dalit-Bahujans of plains, even in the north, the Dravidian people, and Adivasis, the tribals. So the cultures and countercultures got mixed up. Somehow now the hegemonic people impose their festivals as the festivals of all. Now that is where the Dalit-Bahujan festivals got subsumed into the Brahminic festivals. The only Dalit-Bahujan festival in Andhra Pradesh, for example, which has autonomous pan-Andhra Pradesh space is Sankranti, where it is celebrated around harvesting and crop seasons, and celebrating the greenery, celebrating the roots, fruits, celebrating the cattle wealth, celebrating harvesting on the whole. That one. The other one, of course, is Batkama, which is a Dalit-Bahujan festival of rain god filling the tanks and praising that rain god with flowers, and every day for 9 days worshipping the rain god with flower beds and flower decks. And Gaurama, for example, is a rain goddess. So since the tanks get filled, waters flow all around, crops keep coming up around the villages. It is also a festival of women where they need to wear new clothes. The parents were supposed to give them ornaments, gold, silver, and they come back from their in-laws' houses to parental houses and celebrate 9 days. But this beautiful people's festival was also adjoined with Dasara, which is the festival of weapons, worshipping weapons, which was not a combined festival earlier, but the Aryan impositions came into this, and Dasara became the bigger festival than Batkama, what they call Sadulu, Gaurama Puja. So here, in Dasara, as a contrast to the Batkama of 9-day flower decking and flower deck processions keep going from villages to tanks and leaving them on the water as a symbol of praising Ganga for giving the rains. And we dedicate flowers to your memory, flowers to your gloriness, flowers to your blessings of us with rains. Now that ends on the 9th day called Sadulu, and the 10th day they brought in this Dasara, which is a negative festival, actually worshipping the weapons. But of course the Telangana people turned that into a positive festival. That day they cut sheep and goat and eat full of meat and drink and dance. And the evening they also take a very big ram to the village Budrai, the central stone of the village, where goddess of village is said to have been residing there. They take this ram and then cut it in one blow, along with what they call an anapkai also. So men wear new clothes on that day, drink a lot, eat a lot. So it is a festival of merrymaking. In the Greek tradition, they used to have a festival called Lotus-eating, drinking, dancing, and then praising the gods for giving the crops of the season. So this are one set of Hindu festivals. And there are two other traditions. One tradition is the Kerala tradition. Now this tradition again is related to oppressing the Dalit-Bahujan kings and queens, killing them, for they were giving a just rule with a notion of equality for all. That is linked up to the story of Bali Chakravarti, Bali Raja. So Bali Raja was said to have been ruling a kingdom of just state, where milk and honey was flowing, people were equal, eating good food, rains were plenty, and human equality was becoming the order of the day. And this was seen by Vishnu, who does not like equality, who wants not the kingdom of Shudras, but the kingdom of Brahmins and Kshatriyas. So therefore, Vishnu takes an incarnation of dwarf Brahmin called Vamana, and he goes and he first praises Bali for his great kingdom and for his great vision. And Bali, of course, like the Sudra, flip-flaps. He falls to the praise of the Brahmin and then says that you have been praising me so much. Well, I'm here to give you gifts. You ask me what you want. Quite surprisingly, this fellow asks him 3 gifts. He says, yes, I'll give you what you ask. Then he says, I want a land where I can put all my foot, 1 full foot. Then he says, yes, he says, I'll give all that land. You have no problem. Then he asks that, once I get this land, you will be blessed with all kinds of things. Then what is that? Yes, okay, take any amount of land that you want, I'll give. But what he does, he gets onto a sort of high pedestal place, maybe a building kind of a thing, and puts 1 foot up on the land and asks the Brahmin witnesses around, did my foot cover entire land? Yes, there is no space now. All your foot covers entire land. Then he asks, then he shows his another foot to the sky. He asks the same Brahmin witnesses, did my foot cover the entire sky? So actually he asks for 3 feet of land. So with the first feet, Bali Chakravarti says, yes, you take. After all, how much land you need to put your 3 feet, 3 foot on the, so 3 feet land. So he covers this with 1 feet with entire land. The Brahmins say that your foot covered all the land, there is no space. Then he puts his foot up and shows that, did I cover all the skies? Yeah. So then he asked Bali Chakravarti, where do I put my 3rd foot? Then Bali, out of his innocence, says, put it on my head. After all, when his first foot was put on the land, after all, he was also living on the land. His own body was covered of that foot. But he asked a very cunning question, where should I put my 3rd foot? He says, put it on my head. So he puts it on head and crushes him down into the earth. That's how the just kingdom is destroyed. And then the unjust Brahminic kingdom, where inequalities and full-scale caste system was said to have been brought into the Kerala land. Now after this story, the Kerala land, which did not have caste inequalities during Bali Chakravarti's period was brought back into a kind of statehood where full-scale caste system, the Nambudris on the top, with all the powers at their command, the Kshatriyas to rule. There were no Vaishyas there. The Sudras in various forms without any rights. The Sudras even could not even own families. That's how the Nayar Sambandham comes there. Nayars will have to have sexual relations with the Brahmin men. So the Menans also don't have much powers. And then, layers of societies got constructed one after the other. And lower down everybody was the Dalit, the untouchables. The Kerala untouchability becomes the worst. It becomes the untouchability of worst order of unseeability. And Kerala women's rights were completely taken away in this transition. Because they copy it in this transition. Now, where the Kerala women were supposed to have lost all their rights to wear blouses and have good dresses on their body. So all these Brahmanic principles were imposed on the Kerala state. Now, the Onam festival has two angles. One is the original Onam festival. After the Vamana crushes the Bali, the Kerala Dalits and Shudras keep praying the god that on the day of the death of Bali, they lost all their rights and they celebrate that day as a day of sad day. They mourn that day actually, not a celebration. It's a day of mourning as a sad day of the collapse of the kingdom of justice. And they keep worshipping God to get back the Bali Raja and get back Bali again as their king, to give equality. But the Brahmins were also celebrating that day, like they were celebrating in other parts of India, Diwali, Deepavali, as a day of killing Narakasura and establishing the Brahmanic hegemony. And killing of all other the Dalit-Bahujan heroes getting established as the festival days. The Brahmins were celebrating that day as the day of victory, because Bali got killed, he was crushed to the ground, and the Brahmanic kingdom got established in Kerala state. So it got mixed up in a way. Now, what is Brahmanic became major, and what was the Dalit-Bahujan got subsumed into it, and the Dalits also would not assert their festival day as a day of autonomy, day of justice, day of equality. So it has two dimensions. The other kind of festivals, say for example the Bengali kind of festivals, Kali Puja, this festival was earlier, I think, a festival of women, where women's equality as against men's power was asserted, and that day was Women's Equality Festival Day. But over a period of time, the Bengali Brahmins, during the nationalist period, converted that as male chauvinist day, and converted that as a festival day of the Brahmanic woman killing the Dalit-Bahujan rebellion. So Kali, during the Kali Puja, you can see Kali having many Dalit-Bahujan heads as garland, and having a person under her feet tearing the stomach and flowing the blood out, and celebrating that as a kind of Bengali nationalist festival. So this is also anti-Dalit Bahujan. They have created 101 festivals like that, where blood is worshipped, killing is worshipped, horror is worshipped as human festival. But I think of all these festivals, the best festivals to me, which the Dalit Bahujans and all human beings can celebrate with great magnanimity and great feasting and dancing and drinking,